Hi, I am Multi-Topic Talk. Welcome to this new video. Today we talk about The Boys. And I kinda spoiled what I thought of season 4 with the title of this video. Now, before we get into it, I want to tell you why I decided to make this video. I wanted to talk about The Boys because there are a lot of misconception about it, because there's a lot of misinformation. I don't know if we can really call it that way, but maybe we could call it opinions that are biased in a very negative way that don't really give this show a fair chance. So there's a lot of narrative going against that TV show. And this is the intro right now, and I will let you know this. I liked season 1. I hated 2 and 3. But again, season 4 is a return to form. And I will try to argument well, if we can call it that way. Anyway, most of it is obviously my opinion, but it's also the feedback I'm getting from other people that are into the show and that watch the show. And these people are not your mainstream YouTuber that prey on politics and that ain't woke. No, these are normal content creator just like me, just like maybe you, if you are watching and you make content. Before we get right into this show, let's speak about some of the misconception out there. Number one, um, politics. Now people are like, oh, like the boys is too political. Eh, Guys, it was always like that. Season 1, they did poke fun at both sides, the left and the right. And I remember hearing all of you like praising it, but then starting with season 2 and 3, they did poke a lot more funs toward the right. The right are the bad guys, they are the crazies. And I will admit, season 4 has a lot of that again, but I also feel like season 4 also depicted the left as it can be as bad as the right. And I think that was the point of this show with season 4 at least. There was always politics with this TV show. That's the thing. The big difference is now that it creates outrage because it no longer is aligned with what you believe and think. Right wing content is pushed and enjoyed and liked because apparently a lot of people are into it. It's popular. That's why the right is winning in terms of like they get views, people support their channel, they spend money to support these channels with subscription and all of that. And with this show, they poke fun at the right. So of course the right won't like it. So is the place bad because of the politics? Maybe. I don't think so. Because again, it has some kind of bits of nuance because again, both sides are bad. And season 1 had a lot of politics in it. And I think most people that have seen season 1 liked it. It was indeed a really good show that was well received. So does the politics makes it bad? I don't think so. Now, season 2 and 3 are very different deal, but why would you push the narrative that the boys is too political? It's because you don't agree with the show. It's because you don't agree with the people making the show. But I can bet if more conservative values or if they didn't make fun of the right, I can bet all of these people hating on the show for not necessarily valid reason would stand by the show. So I I think it harms fandom and the perception of that show because people try to find excuse to hate on the show with season 4. Now, we will get to season 4 much later in this video, but it's not too political. But again, maybe it's just my bias, maybe it's just my opinion. And I will be honest, here in Canada, it's not as political as in the USA. Like, I've known people that were able to get along and they had very different political views. And I feel like in the USA, because of the climate there, guys cannot do that. Like, if you don't align, everything blows up, I think. Oh, that's a Canadian perspective, you know? But yeah, um, I don't think there's too much politics in it. And again, I don't care about that kind of stuff. It's there, it's part of the message, it's part of the story, it's all together. Let's go down the memory lane, as they call it. 2 years ago, I started the Red Blue podcast with, at that time, my co host Cole Turner. Since then, a lot of things changed, but it was with me for a year and a half ish, more than that. Anyway, it was like, yeah, The Boys, have you seen that TV show? And it's kind of funny because at that point I did not see the show yet. And I was a lot into comic book TV shows and movies and such. So I was like, you know what? It's comic book. Let's see how it goes. Let's see what we deal with. I had a blast watching this thing. This show was a comedy, a satire, and it felt grounded even if we dealt with superheroes, with people with superpowers, which is not really realistic. But hey, the human behind the powers, the teams, and what was going on is what felt grounded. It was a good version of Powers. You know that bad TV shows? Yeah, I've seen both seasons. Anyway, The Boys was really good. And back then, it was very political. Rewind. It was very political. Now, one thing we can say is back then it was subtle and you really needed good media literacy to get it and understand because they would not bash over your head the politics or the message they were trying to provide. 2 years after watching this first season, I remember fondly of it. I liked it. That was a masterpiece. I I want to go back and watch my review of it again and laugh at it because my media literacy wasn't as good as now, but that was just a very good show. Everything was well made, characterization, story, character arcs. It felt fresh, it felt new. That was the first season. And I remember a lot of it. Yui getting someone deleted and the effect it had on me, on him, on everyone, on the viewer, on the story. Yui losing his girlfriend because one of these soups just ran into her, and it's very graphic, you know? There was a plane crash. Homelander could have saved people, and Maeve was kind of shocked she could not save people, and Homelander stopped Maeve from saving people. We had the rewind. We had the deep, uh, doing not really Catholic thing to Starlight, if you know what I mean. It was disgusting, but in a way where it was well written and well made. That was season one in a nutshell. We had A Train that I believe that was the season where he was using some kind of substance to remain YouTube friendly. I might be wrong because I've seen like all three seasons all together at once, but that substance he was injected was to enhance himself, and it had really bad side effects. And I remember in season two, he needed to rebrand, and his story arc was like, I'm no longer the best, I want to be the best. There was that kind of pressure on him, and because that was the first season, it felt new and great. We also got the Deep getting canceled because obviously he was an awful person. We had Starlight, someone that was naive and excited to enter the Seven, that realized the Seven are disgusting. I did laugh a lot in season one. The dialogue felt clever, the characters were good. We had Blackmore, he wasn't speaking at all, and that was kind of cool. Overall, I remember giving season 1 a 9.8 out of 10. And based on me 2 years later, keep in mind I've only seen the show once. Yes, I will repeat myself. There was politics back then. But the focus wasn't on that. The focus was on telling a actual good story with good characters. Because the people making the show cared about it. This is why the show took off. This is why we got Gen V. This is why we got season 2, 3, and 4. Because that was a really good foundation. So, what did happen? For me to say return to form with season 4 if season 1 was so good? Well, season 2 happened. So, season 2 happened. That was bad. I was hyped 2 years ago because I just had seen the first season. I was like, it will be good. It cannot be bad. And at that point, 2 years ago, I was a bit watching here and there, not really religiously, but here and there, anti woke content and that kind of stuff. I'm no longer watching this shit. It's really bad for your brain. But I was into them. So I kinda knew season 2 was a step down. And maybe watching them did impact my opinion and my views on the boys at that point in the show's life. Maybe it did. I don't know. What I do know is that they recycled bunch of stuff like A Train. Oh, he is no longer on top again. He wants to be back on top again. He is a washed up hero again. You see the pattern? Like it's just a rehash. It's just doing the same thing a second time. Let's look at other characters. The Deep, same thing. Same thing. The guy is just there. Oh yeah, I'm a wash up hero again. Cool. 2 out of the 7 are wash up heroes. That's a great start, right? Even if I had these kind of bias toward the show because of anti woke content and that kind of stuff, I can bet, and I'm sure that ask most people that are critique and they think of what they are seeing. Ask most of them, I'm sure they will tell you, yeah, season 2 was kind of the weakest, or it was bad, or it wasn't as good as 1. Sure, if you ask around, you may know that. And it's funny because 2 years ago, the first season of Halo came out, and I remember hating this shit. And I know I was very influenced by anti woke stuff. I know for a fact that one is obvious. I'm not that oblivious or stupid. And recently, at the start of 2024, when season 2 came out, I made Grey Poupe watch season 1 and 2. So I did go back and watch again Halo first season. And it's funny because now it's been like a year and a half or so where I really tapped out of anti-woke content. Yes, sometimes I will keep tab of what they're thinking and saying, but I barely watched him. When I watched him, it's to make sure I know what they're talking about. And it's funny because you see one of their videos, you know everything about what they think and say. You don't really need to dive deep and watch each single reviews. They will all tell you the same thing. So sometimes I do look because I also want to be inspired to make videos and such, and they are a good source of inspiration because of their outrage is inspiring. Inspiring? I don't know how to pronounce that word, sorry. Now, I bring that tangent because on my rewatch of Halo first season, I hated that season even more because now I'm more critical, I'm smarter, and I'm no longer influenced by the dark side of the internet, if we can call it that way. So, if I bring this up, it's because I want to tell you this. I didn't want to get back into The Boys' second season, even for this video. I don't think I will ever rewatch season 2 and 3 because I hated these two seasons. And even if I'm free of the negative thoughts coming from other channels and parts of the internet, I know some of my issues will still stick because sometimes they are right in some things, even if I don't like their approach or how they react to content and that kind of stuff. Deep down, there are some truths. So, if season 2 and 3 as bad as what I thought it was on my first viewing, I don't know. I did try the process with Halo and it was actually worse. So maybe, just saying, maybe I will hate season 2 and 3 even more now that I have the full picture and that I have a better media literacy. But again, the dialogue was just awful. And I hated this shit. And later on in this video, when it's more the return to form part, I will place side by side a clip from season 2 and mini clips of season 4. And I will explain why once we get there. But yeah, season 2 is just the same thing as 1, with a bit of different story beats and character moments here and there. It was actually weak here, because I don't remember much happening to Yui and the others. There was a lot of emphasis on Butcher and how if his life sucks, he has daddy issues or something like that. Um, yeah, like Homelander as well. He snaps, he deletes someone that's important to him, and Homelander basically fall in love with Stormfront because she's like as racist and Nazi as him, whatever. Maybe some redeeming qualities of season 2 and 3 would be Stormfront and Homelander. But again, Homelander is kind of great in every seasons. So, I don't know. But yeah, season 2 felt like a massive step down. When I was talking about season 1, I think I gave like 9.8 out of 10 or something like that. 9.8. I think I gave like 6.2 or 6.3 to season 2, something like that. So you come from a masterpiece in my books to something mediocre in my books because in my books, if you're 6, you're mediocre. For me, the average should be 7 because 7 that means wow. You're more than just enough. You're more than just decent. You're like in the right path, you know? If it's five, it's bad. I'm sorry. If I can say as much bad as good, it's not good. It's not, it's bad. Maybe I'm too pessimistic. I don't know. So the boys' third season. It did the same thing with A Train. Again. The Deep again. Washed up and all. One decent thing. Starlight left the seven officially, I believe, kind of early that season. She joined up with the boys. A Train kind of started his redemption arc, which was great. Um, Black Noir was kind of cool. He died, I believe, and now we got like a new one in season four. Um, but in season two, we had shitty dialogue, we had awful humor. In season three, we had awful humor again, but more. There's more to it. Season three wasn't as political as two, or at least it was more subtle, but a lot of my issues with three were how convenient the story was, how many plot convenience there was. It didn't feel as well written and rounded and square as season one. Hell, season two, in terms of like the way they drove the story, felt better. But again, season two, I think the biggest sin was the dialogue. Awful dialogue. Nothing was subtle about season two. Season three, parts of it was subtle, but again, season three was around the level as two. But at least I didn't want to become deaf after listening to what they were saying. There was a trend with season two. Go get it done! Like they bash it over your head because they wanted to mock diversity hires and that kind of stuff. And it's cool, but the more you play your joke, the less I will laugh. And it felt like the men were made stupid in purpose for the woman to shine. That's how it felt. But again, maybe it's my anti woke inner me, whatever. Maybe it's me that was influenced by them that is telling you this. I feel like when you need to put down some of your character to elevate the rest of the cast, then there's something wrong with the rest of the cast. And season two and three were guilty of that shit. I want to stay away with the 10 feet pool of freaking these two things. And it's funny because Gen V happened. And Gen V was worse. I hated the show. I wanted to die. That show was awful. It was one of the worst. To get back on track, season 2 was like a 6.2, 6.3 out of 10. Season 3, same deal. Either 6.2 or 6.3. I can't remember which one I placed above the other, but it's really slim. Like, one does a mistake, the other one surpasses it. That's how it is. So, that was terrible. So, coming into season 4, now coming into Gen V, I was like, they lost their magic. They won't be able to emulate what they did with season 1. And that was kind of surprising for me that they will go this far with a show that wasn't working for a lot of people. I wasn't the only one telling that. I also had a discussion with Alien, um, someone in our corner of the internet, and I was shocked and surprised he enjoyed season 2 and 3 more than I did. So again, maybe it's because I was influenced by anti fan content or whatever. So in my books and a lot of other people books, season 2 and 3 are rock bottom. Therefore they cannot come back. They will never be as good as before. And because a lot of channel pushes politics, because they're like, yeah, we ate this show because it doesn't align with our politics. Well, they say don't watch it, hate it, and a lot of people they fall for it. They will hate it. They won't watch it, but they will watch content about it because they still want to know what's going on while not watching it. I will never understand that logic. If I don't care about something, I'm not watching it. I won't watch someone else talking about it. Internet, guys, internet. I don't understand. I just don't. So now we talk about season 4. Season 4 had a lot of shocking moments. It was a funny season that I liked. It was a really good season, and I was entertained by it. The final episode of season 4, I had a blast, and there's a few things I didn't note, but I didn't mention in the last stream I did covering the show. Yui and fake Starlight were really cool, and that's not the only place where they were cool, like the previous episodes as well. Well shown how Shapeshifter struggles to keep her shape. Butcher Darkseid was entertaining. The CIA lady talking to Butcher at the hospital was cool. Butcher caring for Ryan was well told. The action was entertaining. Kimiko was great. Funny phone call with Newman. Newman was just really cool in season 3 and 4. She was one of the highlights. The Soups deleting everyone against Homelander was great. Yui's speech about Newman was emotional. Uh, about acting human. Acting. Forgot that word. Butcher's moment with Ryan was great. Butcher's telling the truth about Homelander was amazing. Ryan's ending Grace alive was very sad. Symbiote versus everyone was entertaining. Newman growth into a better person was cool, but then she died, and the shock value was there. Starlight being a hero again. The boys split was great. The music, the villain winning was a great cliffhanger. So will this show end well? I don't think so. Well, it will be a good ending if they do it well, but I think everyone will die. I thought the first half of season 4 were the weak part of that season. Most of the humor did work. Most of what was going on did work. It was just a very good season. It felt like I was back watching season 1. Maybe it's because time passed since I've seen 2 and 3. Or maybe I just got used to the show. I don't know. The Deep was always a prick, a stupid guy, but you could relate to some of his struggle. Like, underneath all of the bad, maybe there was some bits of good, and generally you could care about the guy, but now he is really a full on psycho violent villain. He is just another Homelander, but with less powers. Starlight lost her way in season 4, which is great. Give her material, we need that. A Train turning into a hero. Finally, A Train is not about, oh, I want to be back on top again. Oh, I'm a wash up hero. No, now he sees how it feels like to really genuinely help out someone. And these moments were great. And I felt a lot of things throughout this season with Butchers and Ryan and Yui and his dad. This show has art now. It's a really good show, but because some people in the internet hate that we mock conservatives and the right, This show must burn and die. Again, I didn't like season 2 and 3, but season 4 I had a blast. I stand by it. It was a really good show. Give it a fair shot. Watch it. Stay away from like people that want it to burn because it doesn't align with what they believe. So I won't dive too deep into every single details about the boys. I did talk about the boys for 7 weeks. You can find every other streams in the description of this video, and because this video is labeled as a podcast, you can access the rest of the podcast and find every discussion about the boys and the acolyte because the acolyte was smashed with it. But while going into my detail, I think Homelander is the perfect representation of the USA and America. As an outsider, I see Homelander, I see the USA. And I know you guys and girls are not all racist and degenerate, but I know on both end of the spectrum, the left and the right, there are Homelanders out there that thinks they're above everyone and the rest of the people can die and burn. Homelander is a great villain. It's about time for him to go. I hope they get rid of him fast in season 5. I know that contradicts the fact that he is a great villain, but I feel like you need to go when you are impactful, when you are good. If you have enough time to become worse and bad, then it's sad. You are wasted. But anyway, now this is the verdict. The Boys season 4 is a return to form. Now, it's possible YouTube may hate this part. I did test run that thing, so we should be fine. I should be able to clip it into this big video. But if you don't see it, I am sorry. We will talk about it. If YouTube let me use that footage the way I did, you will have the full context. You will see my reaction. If YouTube hates it and I need to cut it, I will talk enough about what's going on so you still understand. So let's play the clip.
Just you get it done.
Hey, can we talk? You don't talk. It's like you're one thing.
Look, playing the war has been a meaningful challenge, but yesterday was whack as fuck. Never actually murdered anyone before. Does Homelander make us kill people like a lot? And when he does, do we just do it?
Oh, Jesus!
Mm-hmm. Look, don't get me wrong. I am stoked to be here, and I am down to ride the wave. I studied performing arts at Godolphin. I did Cirque du Vote in Montreal. You didn't hire me to stand around like a fucking oak tree.
What do you need?
Some direction. Yo, what the fuck? That was so fucked up.
Noir, your entrance, you're doing too much. Just walk in.
Okay, but when Noir just enters stage right like that, I feel like it's more in character if I come into the skyline.
Fucking talk.
Sorry.
Still talking. We weren't killing the guys today.
I just feel like I'm not getting clear direction for this role. Like Noir lives in a ninja dojo apartment. For best I can tell, he didn't know karate. Here, is there like a playlist I can use to get me inside his head?
Shut the fuck up, Noir, and everyone take your seats. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Is Noir sleeping?
Oh, shit! Sorry, you guys, I'm narcoleptic.
So, season 2 was bashing over your head that y'all get it done. I get it. I get it. It was funny the first time. When every character in the cast do it, or when they overplay it, when they play music in the background to add even more of that cringe, it's painful to witness It's really bad. The humor in season 2 and 3 wasn't that great. And it's a bit funny and sad at the same time. The humor in season 4 did work very well. And one of my favorite moment was with the Deep and Black Noir. I wasn't able to find proper clip. Otherwise, I would have most likely added it to all of the Black Noir stuff. Season 2 kept using the same shit because they had no creativity whatsoever, while season 4, they do overplay some of the jokes, but it's nowhere near as bad, and it's with different themes and jokes. It's not always about empowerment, diversity, and that kind of shit. So I think there's a return to form because now The Boys is fun again. It does poke fun at the left and the right. Most of the cast has really good material to go on. A Train having a pep talk with the other guy that loses faith in the cause and that wanted to step down. That was great! And it felt earned because A Train went into that character arc with the end of 3 and season 4. We also get to see another side of Starlight that we didn't see before with Firecracker. We thought Starlight was genuinely a good person, but when you get someone else's perspective, you realize she was as messed up as the others. You're just blinded because she is pretty. Do I recommend watching The Boys season 4? Hell yeah! Do not watch or listen these people that have apathy toward this show. Because they lie to you. If they really had apathy, would they make any video about it? I don't think so. They do make a video about it because they do care. They tell you they don't, but they do. Full of like paradoxes. I'm looking forward to season 5, and it's shocking because I was the first big fan, whatever, I was the first big hater of season 2 and 3. I hated Gen V. These 3 seasons of TV are some of the rock bottom shenanigans I hated the most. After watching 4, I forgive them. Fair and square. Forgive them. Season 4 got me hyped and excited for 5. Cannot wait to see how it all ends. I hope it will be a great ending. Coming next in this podcast about the Acolyte and the boys, we got one last Acolyte video. Don't think it will be as hopeful as this one. Anyway, that was multi-topic talk. If you want more content like that, you can watch a lot of podcasts in the podcast area of my channel. There's mainstream movie reviews. This one will be back in August. We got Red Blue Podcast. We will have one episode in August, and the season 6 will truly start either in September or October. Outside of that, bunch of movie reviews. I also do gaming because I realize gaming does bring a lot of views. People are watching more my gaming than my reviews. So there's something for everyone, and I will let you go now.